In this video, we talk about Mystery of Unveiling Area 51. Deep within the vast, sun-scorched expanse of the Nevada desert lies a place that exists on no official map. It is a location shrouded in mystery, a name that has become, well, pretty much synonymous with government secrets and extraterrestrial conspiracies. This place is known to the world as Area 51. For decades, its very existence was denied by the United States government, a policy of silence that only fueled public curiosity and speculation. The base, officially known as Homey Airport or Groom Lake, has captured the imagination of millions. People wonder what happens behind its heavily guarded perimeter, where armed guards patrol and warning signs promise lethal force against trespassers. This intense secrecy is the very seed from which a global legend has grown. The story of Area 51 is not just one of hidden aircraft and advanced technology. It is a story about how information is controlled. The mystery surrounding the base became a powerful cultural phenomenon, a blank canvas onto which people could project their greatest fears and wildest hopes about the government and the universe. The lack of official answers created a vacuum, and into that void rushed countless theories, tales of crashed flying saucers, and rumors of alien autopsies. This narrative, while exciting, often obscures the real and equally fascinating history of the site. The truth of Area 51 is deeply rooted in the paranoia and technological race of the Cold War, a period of intense global struggle. The journey to understand Area 51 begins with understanding why it needed to be so secret in the first place. It was established as a remote testing facility, a place far from prying eyes where the nation's brightest minds could design and build the next generation of spy planes. These were not ordinary aircraft. They were machines designed to fly higher and faster than anything that had come before. Their purpose was to venture deep into enemy territory, specifically the Soviet Union, to gather intelligence that could prevent a catastrophic nuclear war. The success of these missions depended entirely on the element of surprise, making secrecy paramount to national security. Therefore, the legend of Area 51 is a dual narrative. On one hand, there is the popular mythos of aliens and UFOs, a story that has entertained and intrigued the public for generations. On the other hand, there is the factual history of a top-secret military installation at the forefront of aerospace innovation. These two stories are not entirely separate. As we will see, they were deliberately intertwined. The US government found the public's fascination with little green men to be a convenient and highly effective smokescreen. The UFO stories helped to hide the very real and very terrestrial secrets being developed in the Nevada desert. The Cold War was a time of unprecedented tension between two global superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. This was not a war fought with armies on traditional battlefields, but a conflict waged through espionage, technological competition, and the constant threat of nuclear annihilation. In this high-stakes environment, intelligence was the most valuable currency. The United States needed to know what the Soviets were planning, where their military bases were, and how advanced their weapons programs had become. This desperate need for information led to the creation of Area 51 in the mid-1950s, a place chosen for its extreme isolation and natural concealment. To keep its project secret, the US military relied on a comprehensive strategy of physical and informational security. The physical security was immense. The base is situated on the massive Nevada Test and Training Range, a huge parcel of land controlled by the federal government. This buffer zone made it nearly impossible for unauthorized individuals to get close without being detected. The airspace above the base was, and remains, the most restricted in the country, a box where no civilian or unauthorized military aircraft is permitted to fly. This created a secure bubble where experimental aircraft could be tested without fear of being seen by curious pilots or foreign spies on the ground. Beyond the physical barriers, the military implemented a strict code of silence among the personnel who worked there. Every employee, from the top scientists to the janitorial staff, was required to sign non-disclosure agreements, binding them to a lifetime of secrecy. They could not discuss their work with their families, their friends, or anyone outside the classified project. Workers were often flown in and out of the base on unmarked passenger jets from a private terminal in Las Vegas, a process that continues to this day. This compartmentalization ensured that even if one person spoke, they would only know a tiny piece of the much larger puzzle, protecting the overall mission. The secrecy extended to countering foreign surveillance, particularly from Soviet spy satellites. As satellite technology improved, the Soviets could periodically photograph the base from orbit with their Zenit spacecraft. To counter this, American intelligence agencies would carefully track the orbits of these satellites. They knew precisely when a Soviet satellite would be passing overhead. During these brief windows of observation, experimental aircraft would be hidden inside hangars, and other sensitive activities would be halted. This cat-and-mouse game in the sky was a critical part of maintaining the fortress-like secrecy that defined Area 51 during its most critical years of operation. The secrecy at Area 51 was not just about building high fences and demanding silence. It was also about actively misleading the public and foreign adversaries. The U.S. military and intelligence agencies became masters of disinformation, creating a fog of myths and rumors to obscure the truth. They understood that if people saw something strange in the sky, and with radical new aircraft designs they inevitably would, it was better to have them believe in little green men than to guess at the existence of a top-secret spy plane. This strategy of hiding in plain sight by encouraging fantastical explanations was a cornerstone of Area 51's security protocol. This campaign of deception was not haphazard. It was a calculated and official policy. Recent government reports, including a 2024 analysis from the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, have confirmed this long-standing practice. The report detailed how the military deliberately spread UFO narratives to provide camouflage for its most advanced and secret programs. These were not just passive suggestions, they were active measures. Officials would feed false information to journalists, leak fabricated documents, and even stage photographs to create a compelling but entirely untrue story. The goal was to distract, confuse, and ultimately protect the real secrets being developed. One of the primary reasons for this strategy was the unusual appearance and performance of the aircraft being tested. Planes like the U-2 and SR-71 flew at altitudes and speeds previously thought impossible for any man-made object. When civilians, or even commercial airline pilots, caught a glimpse of these strange, fast-moving lights high in the sky, they had no frame of reference. The shape of the F-117 Nighthawk, with its bizarre triangular profile, looked nothing like a conventional airplane. It was far easier to let people's imaginations run wild with thoughts of alien visitors than to risk a skilled observer correctly identifying a new piece of military hardware. This web of deception created a powerful feedback loop. The more the military denied the existence of Area 51, the more people believed something extraordinary was being hidden there. The more strange sightings were reported, the more the UFO myth grew, providing even better cover for the next generation of secret projects. This cycle turned Area 51 into a cultural icon of conspiracy. The government's silence and active misdirection were so effective that they birthed a mythology that has lasted for over half a century, successfully shielding the truth of what was really flying in the Nevada skies. The UFO mythology surrounding Area 51 was not an accident. It was a carefully cultivated garden of deceit. The seeds of this mythology were planted in the 1950s, right as the first major projects at the base were getting underway. The test flights of the U-2 spy plane were a primary catalyst. This aircraft could fly at over 60,000 feet, an altitude where no planes were expected to be. When commercial airline pilots reported seeing unidentified flying objects, they were often seeing the glint of sunlight off the U-2's silver wings, high in the stratosphere. The Air Force, unable to reveal the existence of the U-2 program, would publicly dismiss these sightings as natural phenomena or mass hysteria, which only deepened the mystery. As technology advanced, so did the cover stories. The military realized that simply dismissing sightings was not enough. They needed to actively shape the narrative. This led to more overt disinformation campaigns. For example, in the 1980s, during the testing of the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter, the Air Force went to great lengths to misdirect public attention. A retired Air Force colonel later admitted that, under official orders, he provided a local bar owner near Area 51 with fake photographs of a flying saucer. The intention was to give UFO enthusiasts a juicy but false lead to chase, drawing their attention away from the real, secret test flights of the stealth aircraft happening nearby. This strategy was remarkably effective because it played on existing cultural beliefs. The post-World War II era was ripe with fascination about space travel and the possibility of life on other planets. Science fiction movies and books had already primed the public to think about aliens and flying saucers. The government simply tapped into this existing cultural current and redirected it for its own purposes. By feeding the UFO subculture with tantalizing evidence, they ensured that any real sightings of their experimental craft would be lumped in with the countless hoaxes and unsubstantiated claims, effectively hiding the truth in a sea of noise. The Pentagon's 2024 ADARO report solidifies these historical accounts, stating that a significant number of the most famous UFO conspiracy theories can be traced directly back to these military deception efforts. The report concluded that these campaigns were designed to confuse and mislead the American public and, more importantly, foreign adversaries like the Soviet Union. The flying saucer stories were not just a byproduct of secrecy, they were an active tool of Cold War espionage. The myth of crashed alien ships and reverse-engineered technology was a far more palatable public secret than the truth about America's cutting-edge spy technology. At the heart of Area 51's real history are the incredible machines designed and tested there. Many of them the products of Lockheed's legendary Advanced Development Division, the Skunk Works. The first superstar of Groom Lake was the U-2 spy plane. Developed in the mid-1950s, the U-2 was essentially a high-altitude glider with a powerful engine and a sophisticated camera. Its mission was simple but, honestly, incredibly dangerous: to fly higher than Soviet fighter jets and air defenses could reach, taking detailed photographs of military sites deep inside the USSR. The U-2 provided President Eisenhower with undeniable proof of the Soviet bomber and missile gap, changing the course of the Cold War. The U-2's success, however, was not permanent. After one was famously shot down over the Soviet Union in 1960, the CIA knew they needed something even more advanced, an aircraft that was not just high-flying but also untouchably fast. This need gave birth to the A-12 Oxcart program and its more famous successor, the SR-71 Blackbird. The SR-71 was, well, a marvel of engineering, a futuristic-looking jet capable of flying at more than 3 times the speed of sound, Mach 3+, at altitudes above 85,000 feet. From that height, its pilots could survey over 100,000 square miles of Earth's surface in a single hour. Testing the SR-71 at Area 51 pushed the boundaries of technology and human endurance. The aircraft was built primarily from titanium to withstand the extreme heat generated by air friction at such high speeds. Its fuel was unique, and its engines were a revolutionary hybrid of a turbojet and a ramjet. The pilots wore full-pressure suits, much like astronauts, to survive in the near-space environment where they operated. The SR-71 was so fast that the standard procedure for evading a surface-to-air missile was simply to accelerate. For over 2 decades, the Blackbird was the world's fastest and highest-flying operational aircraft, and not a single one was ever lost to enemy fire. These aircraft were the real secrets of Area 51. The strange lights in the night sky over Nevada were not alien spacecraft. They were the afterburners of the SR-71 pushing the edge of the atmosphere. The bizarre shapes glimpsed at a distance were not flying saucers, but the radical designs of planes built for missions that sounded like science fiction. The work done at Groom Lake with the U-2 and SR-71 gave the United States an unparalleled intelligence advantage during the most dangerous decades of the Cold War, allowing presidents to make critical decisions based on fact rather than fear. The UFO stories were merely the curtain hiding this incredible technological stage. Following the era of high-altitude reconnaissance, Area 51 became the cradle for another revolutionary concept in military aviation stealth. The goal was no longer just to fly higher or faster than the enemy, but to be completely invisible to their radar. This ambition led to the creation of one of the most secret and honestly bizarre-looking aircraft ever built, the F-117 Nighthawk. Known as the stealth fighter, the F-117 was not a fighter in the traditional sense. It was a precision strike aircraft designed to penetrate the most heavily defended enemy airspace undetected and deliver laser-guided bombs with pinpoint accuracy. The development of the F-117 under the code name Have Blue began at Area 51 in the late 1970s. The aircraft's design was entirely dictated by the need to deflect radar waves. Instead of smooth, aerodynamic curves, the F-117 was made of a series of flat panels or facets, angled to scatter radar energy away from its source. This gave it a jagged, alien-like appearance that, contributed heavily to the UFO sightings in the region. To maintain absolute secrecy, all test flights were conducted at night. This meant that any local residents or travelers who saw the craft would only see its strange lights and an unearthly, triangular shape moving silently through the darkness. The secrecy surrounding the F-117 program was even more intense than that for the U-2 and SR-71. For nearly a decade, the aircraft was developed, tested, and became fully operational without the public knowing of its existence. It was during this period that the military's disinformation campaigns ramped up significantly. Officials actively planted stories about new UFO flaps and alien encounters to provide cover for the frequent nighttime test flights of the oddly shaped Nighthawk. The program was so secret that even many high-ranking officials in the Pentagon were unaware of its details. The world finally learned about the F-117 Nighthawk in 1988, when the Pentagon officially unveiled it. 2 years later, it proved its incredible value during the Persian Gulf War, where it flew missions deep into Iraq to destroy critical command and control centers and air defense networks, all without a single aircraft being touched by enemy fire. The success of the F-117, born in the secrecy of Area 51, changed aerial warfare forever. It demonstrated that invisibility was a weapon as powerful as speed or firepower, a legacy that continues today in modern aircraft like the B-2 bomber and the F-22 and F-35 fighters, all of which owe their existence to the pioneering work done at Groom Lake. For decades, the only images of Area 51 were grainy, long-distance photographs taken by curious civilians from nearby hilltops. The base itself remained a blank spot on public maps. However, a new window into this secret world has opened in recent years through the declassification of Cold War-era satellite imagery. These images, taken by America's own spy satellites, were once among the nation's most guarded secrets. Now they provide a remarkable historical record of the base's evolution, showing the construction of new runways, hangars, and support facilities from the 1960s through the collapse of the Soviet Union. These declassified photos offer a bird's-eye view of history in the making. We can see the base as it appeared during the development of the U-2 and SR-71, and watch it expand to accommodate the F-117 program. While these images do not reveal the secret aircraft themselves, which were always hidden when spy satellites were overhead, they do confirm the immense scale of the operations at Groom Lake. The release of this imagery by the U.S. government marks a major shift from the old policy of absolute denial, providing concrete visual evidence of the base's long and storied history as a hub of military innovation. Interestingly, the first publicly available satellite image of Area 51 did not come from the United States. In 1986, the French Spot 1 satellite captured a photograph of the base with a resolution of 10 meters, which was far superior to the 30-meter resolution of the American Landsat satellites available for public use at the time. This French image caused a stir, as it was the first time the public could see a clear overhead view of the mysterious installation. It was a moment that signaled the beginning of the end for the government's ability to keep the base's physical layout a complete secret in an age of increasing commercial satellite technology. Despite the wealth of information in these declassified archives, intriguing gaps remain. Researchers have noted that certain key images are missing from the public record. For example, a KH-4 satellite photograph of Area 51, scheduled for December 21, 1968, is conspicuously absent, as are several images from the later, more advanced KH-9 satellite. These missing pieces suggest that even with the new era of transparency, some secrets are still considered too sensitive to reveal. These gaps continue to fuel speculation about what might have been happening at the base during those specific times, ensuring that even the declassified record retains an element of mystery. The government's efforts to protect Area 51's secrets went beyond simply spreading rumors. They sometimes involved elaborate and officially sanctioned hoaxes. These were not just passive acts of misdirection, but active, planned operations designed to create entirely false narratives. This level of deception highlights the extreme importance of the projects being developed at the base. The military was willing to create fictional realities and engage in bizarre activities to ensure that the truth about their advanced aircraft technology remained hidden from both the public and America's enemies. who were watching closely for any slip-ups. One of the strangest examples of this was a military hazing ritual centered on a fictional alien investigation unit called Yankee Blue. This internal prank, which ran from the 1980s until it was officially banned in 2023, involved tricking new personnel into believing they were being initiated into a secret group that dealt with extraterrestrial matters. While it was framed as a joke within the military, its existence blurred the lines between official duty and UFO folklore, contributing to the internal culture of myth surrounding the topic. The fact that such a ritual existed and persisted for decades shows how deeply the alien mythology was intertwined with the culture of secrecy. The story of the retired Air Force colonel providing fake flying saucer photos to a local bar owner is another prime example of this deliberate deception. This was not the act of a rogue officer, it was an official assignment. The goal was to give UFO hunters a specific, tangible but completely fabricated piece of evidence to focus on. While they were busy analyzing the fake photos and chasing a non-existent alien craft, the real secret, the F-117 Nighthawk, could continue its critical test flights unobserved. This tactic shows a sophisticated understanding of public psychology and the media, using the allure of a sensational story to bury a more important truth. These actions have been officially confirmed by the 2024 Pentagon AARO report, which was established to bring clarity to the UAP, or Unidentified Aerial Phenomena issue. The report's findings were stark. Many popular UFO beliefs were not organic, but were the direct result of these historical disinformation campaigns. The government's willingness to lie so elaborately demonstrates the immense pressure of the Cold War. In the high-stakes chess match against the Soviet Union, misleading the public was seen as a necessary, if unfortunate, tactic to protect technologies that were vital for maintaining national security and preventing a global conflict. Even though many of Area 51's historical secrets have been declassified, the base continues to fascinate people around the world. The official acknowledgement of its existence in 2013 and the release of documents and satellite images have answered many questions, but the allure of the unknown persists. The decades of intense secrecy, government denials, and carefully crafted UFO myths created a legend so powerful that it cannot be easily erased by facts alone. The name Area 51 has become a cultural shorthand for mystery, representing the idea that there are still things the government is not telling us. Part of this enduring fascination comes from the knowledge that Area 51 is still a highly active and operational base. While the U-2, SR-71, and F-117 are now public knowledge, the installation continues its work on the next generation of secret aircraft and technologies. The same restricted airspace and heavy security remain in place, suggesting that projects of immense importance are still being developed there. People naturally wonder what revolutionary aircraft might be hidden in its hangars today. Is it an advanced hypersonic drone, a new type of stealth bomber, or something else entirely? Something as groundbreaking as the Blackbird was in its day. The legacy of the government's own disinformation campaign also plays a crucial role. Having admitted to using UFO stories as a cover in the past, the government has created a boy who cried wolf scenario. Any future denials or dismissals of strange sightings will naturally be met with skepticism. People will wonder if a new UFO flap is just another clever distraction to hide a new secret project. This self-inflicted credibility gap ensures that Area 51 will likely remain at the center of conspiracy theories for years to come, as the past strategy of deception continues to fuel present-day doubt and speculation about what is truly happening. Ultimately, Area 51 represents the tantalizing boundary between what we know and what we can only imagine. It is a physical place that embodies the human desire to uncover secrets and explore the unknown. The declassified history of its Cold War projects is, in many ways, just as incredible as the alien myths that once concealed them. But as long as its gates remain closed and its work remains classified, Area 51 will continue to serve as a powerful symbol of hidden knowledge, a place where the secrets of today are waiting to become the history of tomorrow, forever capturing the public's imagination.